Good morning, everyone. Welcome. Thank you for taking the time to join us today. As a leading mailer and a top 25 account for the USPS, American Litho is fortunate to be in a position where the USPS has assigned us a dedicated business alliance specialist. We are joined today by Jim Decker with the USPS. Jim is a key partner for American Litho, and we are grateful that he was able to join us today to discuss the 2023 USPS postal promotions. For the sake of time, if you have any questions, please post them in the chat and we will address them at the end. Also, we'll be sending out this deck that will be presented today, so everyone will get a copy. So with that, please keep your mics on mute and we'll turn it over to our friend Jim Decker from the United States Post Office.
Thank you, Matt. I appreciate the invitation. And I am, again, the business alliance partner with American Litho. And just a little background for the call. Frank, Matt, and the sales team were brainstorming a couple months ago, and we talked about some of the headwinds that direct mail users are facing. And I don't have to tell you that the cost and scarcity of some of the paper supplies, the freight cost increasing, as well as certainly the cost of postage. But the American Litho sales team took on the challenge head on and made the commitment to provide the best possible consultant service to maximize the savings opportunities really that the 2023 postal promotions offered. So session today really is informative rather than necessarily the deep dive, but we wanted to make sure that we got this information to you as quickly as possible, understanding that February 1st is coming up very quickly here. And we want to make sure that, again, you have everything needed to make decisions and make plans associated with taking advantage of some of the discounts. So with that, I'm going to dive right in. So really the goal is to get more out of your direct mail advertising and save money on postage. We'll talk the 2023 promotions. We do obviously have to step up a moment back. We are still in 2022. There are promotions still existing. I want to talk a little bit about the calendars and some of the details associated with it. But before I do that, I do want to speak real quickly around one of the USPS's most recent innovations, and that is the informed delivery. I want to talk about that a little bit more at length, but just really excited about the fact that we broke the 50 million subscribers mark actually about 3 weeks ago. And it continues to show that informed delivery provides value not only for the subscribers, but also for the businesses that take advantage of the opportunity to do a dual brand or dual touch point with your customer levels. It's interesting that informed delivery has been around for about 5 years now, I think, and hitting the 50 million user base represents about 28% of the US addresses. So, you know, a direct mail campaign utilizing informed delivery has much more impact than it did back in the early days when we maybe had 5% or 7%. But interesting that there's been over 5 billion pieces associated with informed delivery campaigns. And a part of that campaign, we'll talk a little bit about that, is the intent of creating a call to action. A call to action typically would be a click-through onto a website, either for viewing purposes, ordering purposes, could be a variety of things, but there's been over almost 15 million click-throughs that represent an additional opportunity for a digital touch point with those customers, and of course some level of commitment on their part.
Hey, Jim, I think your slide is stuck. We're still seeing the very first slide.
Okay, sorry.
No problem.
All right, maybe what I'll do, how about here? Are we changing? Okay, I may just stick outside the presentation piece. Sorry, this is what I had spent some time on. So over 5 billion pieces associated with the campaign. Informed delivery campaign, over almost 15 million click-throughs associated with those campaigns, and represents, again, a significant opportunity for businesses that take advantage of that service. So 2022, we ended up having are in the midst of 6 different promotions associated with discounts. And the intent behind the discount really is to provide a vehicle, provide an incentive for the mailer, the direct mailer, the company, to actually enable certain types of technologies to make direct mail more relevant and get better results. So in essence, our goal is to jumpstart some of the technologies that are out there and ensure that companies can take advantage of the results associated with it. So we had 6 last year. We will have 6, 23. You might notice on here there are some proposed color markings associated with it. So this just got approved by the PRC this week, literally. So when we planned and needed to get this in front of you all, we wanted to do it as quickly as possible. So some of these slides haven't been updated yet. So we'll talk a little bit about each, but really emerging tech and mobile shopping have now been combined. So those were 2 separate before. And then reply mail and retargeted mail are actually new incentives for 2023. From a timing perspective, I think you can see here very clearly why we wanted to make sure that we got this information in your hands as quickly as possible. American Litho's team really is focused on making sure that we've got enough time for planning, any supplies that might need to be coordinated, that type of stuff. And again, we are now, or will shortly be, in the sign-up period for the first promotion for 2023. So December 15th, the portal will open and we will be able to actually get approvals and request any changes that might be necessary, et cetera, for the tactile sensory. This calendar also shows that the tactile sensory is for both first class and marketing mail. Personalized color trans promo is first class only. Emerging tech is both. Reply mail is first class. Informed delivery is both, and retargeted is really first class. So in looking at this calendar, in all likelihood, you've already come to the same conclusion that Frank and his team did very quickly, is the fact that for 2023, based on the different promotions that are available or that exist out there and the dates and the timelines associated with it, you will literally be able to have promotions or participate in promotions and the reduction in postage 11 out of the 12 months for 2023. So bringing that calendar back up, what kind of makes sense is that in the marketing mail side, so if you're in an acquisition mode, informing current customer base, et cetera, your tactile sensory interactive promotion would start February 1st through the 31st and could easily swing then in a marketing mail format into informed delivery. Pick that up August 1st and then finish out through the end of the year. So for the first time, the promotions have been aligned really that allow you to maximize the entire year and not necessarily have to make choices as to which you're going to do when. On the first class side, again, transactional mail, that type of stuff, billings, invoices, statements, your personalized color trans promo, and then can roll into the informed delivery. So similar, if you're a marketing mail group, you can take advantage again of the promotions for 11 months in a first mail or first class or a transactional, do the same thing. The reply mail and retargeted mail are really separate, so you can't piggyback them, but they're separate campaigns, separate promotions. And so those exist as well. So you'd be able to take advantage of those as well. But for the first time, again, in a long time, be able to take advantage of the promotions 11 months out of the year. This is more of a detailed slide associated with the classifications of the different promotions, what qualifies for which, etc. So the real popular version is really that tactile sensory. And the intent behind this is to create a reaction, create an engagement with your recipient of your direct mail pieces. And so really comes around paper stocks, finishing techniques, inks, those types of things that can all be represent that connection that you have with either your existing clients or prospects associated with that. So the tactile and sensory is a 5% discount and can be either under the specialty inks, sensory treatments, or an interactive element. It does actually start February 1st and goes through July 31st. So I'm not one that would actually approve promotions, but I work with the promotions group out of headquarters. And so we assist American Litho with the process of actually requesting approvals, what's likely to be approved, how, what has been approved in the past, that type of stuff. And so a variety of ink technologies exist, and the ability of actually doing the different treatments associated with this can actually allow your mail piece to be approved. And this can be either on the outside or can be the contents. So specialty inks is one of the ways through the tactile side. The sensory treatment, again, texture, scent is new, but is starting to gain popularity in the mailing world. And then the visual effects associated with it. So from a texture standpoint, I know I've seen some for that are advertising for like vacations, maybe a sandy touch to it. There's certain ribbed material now available that qualifies for some of the discounts associated with it. There's the trailing edge, leading edge, trailing edge concept as far as like postcards and direct mail. Scent goes beyond, is somewhat self-explanatory. Scent is a little interesting on our part. We obviously have to test the material and can be either, again, on the outside or the inside. And the visual effects, some of the treatments associated with it, the visuals associated with it. And the interactive side, again, typically involved with a complex folding mechanism, or as I mentioned before, like the trailing edge, the TED C envelopes or postcards associated with it. So the tactile and sensory is typically very well received. Again, the technology exists to actually create that interaction with your prospect or your customer base that you're sending the direct mail to. And it is something that the American Litho Group is very well versed in and can offer a number of alternatives for you. So kind of going back to the whole 5%, again, I suspect that some of you are probably ahead of me again. The American Litho team made a good point, is that even with the pending rate increase that will take effect January 23rd, it's the rate increase for marketing mail is 4.2%, but it's actually more like 3.6 based on the different levels of automation, et cetera. So if you think about it, you'll actually be able to mail using this promotion at a lower cost than you could have even after the rate increase, right? So lower cost than last year through the use of the promotions. So that's the tactile side. The emerging and advanced technology promotion really does include mobile shopping. And so the ability of actually creating an interactive experience where a recipient of your mail piece can go launch directly into a catalog, more of a retail scenario typically associated with that. and the emerging and advanced technology, the discounts here are based on the level of technology that you utilize. So augmented reality is something that is really coming on very, very strong. And you and I all see this. You go to Home Depot, you go virtually anywhere, and you can use the camera, the feature with your camera of scanning a QR code or some sort of a digital image that would actually then open up an interactive augmented reality or interactive piece associated with it. So this is a function with direct mail that again engages your prospective customers, your existing client base with either new products, new services that you offer. I'm starting to see some things in the insurance industry of how to fill out claims. There's a lot of focus on that. And I know American Litho actually has the ability of working with your teams on creating just that an augmented reality piece that could, in fact, gain additional business for you, as well as a discount associated with it. So Alexa and Google are up to about 35%, 37% of the market out there. And so basic voice commands can actually be created to utilize your access websites, ordering techniques, that type of thing. And again, I mentioned mobile shopping. The 4% discount is really associated with some of the video and print, virtual reality, near field communications. These typically would be a little bit higher end solutions in the direct mail market, but based on the margins and the reactions of consumers, many of these have had success as well. Again, reference the fact that the kind of the progression of augmented reality, so getting into a mixed reality, and then really ending with that virtual reality, which really requires that goggle set, etc. If you've not considered the augmented reality, it is something, again, that does exist, and the capabilities can actually be worked with you directly through the American Litho team as well. I referenced personalized color trends promo. This really, again, is a first-class mail piece, and the intent behind it is to create a interaction with the recipient of the bill and a colored segment on that bill that stands out, pops out, that can actually create interaction and perhaps sell additional products, that type of stuff. So an example here would be a reward statement associated with either a credit card or maybe a travel agency. And then the intent behind it would be a piece on that statement that actually then could be qualifies for that color trends promo. In this case, we're trying something a little different in that the actual statement in a color trends promo approved piece would be a 3% discount. If in fact that you enclose a courtesy reply envelope, that type of stuff for interaction with your client base, then there could be a 4% discount if in fact that's included with the outbound mail piece. A couple of these others are a little bit further out. So the reply mail IMBA. So with business reply mail, where it's prepaid or postage paid by your company, for example, so BRE, BRM, that type of thing. The way it's done today, those mail pieces come back in and they're actually physically counted and then debited against an EPS account or a postage due account, if you will. The new technology that we're able to allow is the accountable mail. And so once you sign up and can print the new IMB on those reply mail pieces, they can actually be counted electronically as they come back in through our scanning equipment. So that's the intent behind it. Retargeted is something that is somewhat new, but basically means that you would be able to append think about like a cookie on your website. And that cookie then would reflect the IP address of someone that has been looking on your website that's actually been looking for a product, doing some research, that type of thing. An example, we bought a Jeep last year. You can go online, you can design your vehicle, put color, all that kind of stuff. Well, about the third time I went online and started doing that, started receiving mail pieces from Jeep around the quality of their product, where their local dealerships were, some incentives that they had associated with it. So the intent is to really take those people that have expressed some interest in your solution or your product and reinforcing that with a direct mail piece. So this is kind of in the weeds a little bit, but this year we will be accepting all applications for the promotion. So to gain approval, you'll actually go through our portal. And last year, each of the different promotions had their own website and they had their own manager associated with it. And we experienced some backlogs associated with it. In a portal scenario, as it comes in, you would be able to see the activity that's going on in that piece. You wouldn't have to try to find an email that came back that said it was approved. You'd be able to go to a single site. And this is something that American Litho has confirmed their ability to work with you in submitting and gaining approval for the various promotions. Important slide. Again, we reference the emerging and advanced technology. That's typically your mobile shopping or your augmented reality, a 3 or 4% discount. Informed delivery, which is the last half of the year, is a 4% discount. Retargeting promotions, that's where you're accepting either shopping carts that have not yet been acted upon or visitors to your website, that type of stuff, a 5% discount. The reply mail for BRE, BRM, either a 3 or 6%. Personalized color transpromo, 3%. And the tactile and interactive, a 5% discount. So I know that there are questions. If you could type those in the chat box, I know that those questions will be captured and we'll answer what we can and then get back to you with answers to the other parts of the questions. I did want to spend just a moment on the informed delivery as well. Can you see my screen?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we see it, Joe.
Awesome. Okay. So informed delivery, again, is one of the newer solutions that the post office offers. It basically means that we being the Postal Service, captures an image of each of the mail pieces that run through our sorting equipment. And we then make those images available to subscribers for informed delivery service. There's no fee associated with that. But we, again, make those images visible then to the recipient. Here's an example. So I'm an informed delivery subscriber. I see this as in an email that's sent to me daily and represents mail that will be in my mailbox over the next day or two. And typically comes in a grayscale image. Subscribers are very happy with informed delivery. Again, it's has shown significant growth. I mean, we're up to 51 million subscribers, and again, started 4 or 5 years ago and really have done very little marketing associated with it. So we do get, based on that email notification of what's going to be in your mailbox, we get between a 65 and a 70% open rate, if you can imagine that, right? In the world of email marketing, to get a 65 or 70% open rate. And then that becomes that digital touch point for what's going to be in your mailbox anyway, which is your physical mail, right? So if you, as involved in a marketing side of your organization, if you're not yet subscribed as an informed delivery subscriber, really USPS.com informed delivery, And then if you sign up, what happens is there's a certification process to make sure that it's actually you at that address. And then within 2 to 3 days, you would start to see what your client base would see with an informed delivery campaign, right? So you'd be able to see what your recipients of direct mail see in that process. From a postal perspective, again, the it's a digital view of direct mail. So physical mail still has that same value, still has that retention piece, still has the ability of interaction, but it just reinforces that physical mail piece with a digital image associated with it. Again, 28% of the US household are associated with our subscribers today.
Hey, Jim, I'm sorry to interrupt real quick. Can you make sure that you've enabled chat so people can ask questions? I'm not sure it's enabled.
Okay, let me see.
Thank you.
It looks like it should be on.
Great. Thank you.
Okay. Yep, I think we're okay with that. We could certainly open it up afterwards for some questions if we go that direction. Again, this image just talks a little bit about the density or the areas associated with subscribers. As you can imagine, some markets are a little bit more heavily subscribed than others. When you sign up for informed delivery, there are no questions associated with your demographics, how old you are, anything like that. But there have been outside analysts that have looked at who a typical subscriber is, and we find that this typical informed delivery subscriber matches very well to a lot of businesses as far as what they're trying to sell and who they're trying to reach. So again, typically an online shopper, a mid to higher level income, a 50-year-old plus, which indicates 60% are women. So very, very strong targeted audience for a lot of the products that are out there. I found this to be interesting, and it's certainly true of me, is that when that email comes out of what's likely to be in my mailbox, oftentimes 65% of the time, those emails are opened in the morning. And so obviously, typically a person's going to be at work or whatever. And then when you get home, you still got that physical mail piece at your mailbox. So it's a double touch. There is no fee associated with it. It's a double touch associated with your marketing message. And most people do, in fact, access it through the email. You could do a portal as well. So we being the USPS then took that subscriber content or information and then made some features and functions available to the mailer. So the business mailer can actually create an image that would be a color image. Here's an example of one that was out there. So this is the back of the postcard. So it's a representative image of what's being mailed. And then within that is the accessible image associated with a click-through or a call to action. So this call to action then would allow the recipient of the mail piece, the subscriber, to click on that, and that would launch a URL or website that Mosquito Joe would want. Maybe it's, request a price proposal, set up a meeting, that type of stuff. So instead of having a www dot whatever on the mail piece, that you'd have a direct link and be able to access that information directly through that informed delivery email that came out. So what does that mean to the business mailer? Really is, again, continues to build your product and your brand awareness, multiple impressions. That's what I reference. You've got an opportunity for a call to action that a client can actually participate on directly from their desktop or phone, depends on how they access it. and certainly increases ROI. There have been a number of case studies that have indicated that depending on your product and what you're marketing, but the ability of actually reacting to that digital message can actually improve your ROI, improve sales associated with it. Pretty simple process. Again, you wouldn't do anything different than you do today as far as your direct mail campaign. All you would do would be to work with myself, the American Litho team, to actually add a color image if you so desired, the color image that would then replace that grayscale, and then a URL or landing site that would make the most sense for those subscribers if they were interested to click through, where they would land and what they would be able to take advantage of. Whether to sell a product, gain an appointment, sign up for a training class, whatever that might be. There is reporting associated with these informed delivery campaigns. And so in that case, you would have the ability of actually doing summary reports. So if I mailed out, 10,000 pieces, their email open rates were 66% and had a click through, in this case, of 0.29%. And you can actually get directly down into the details. We don't necessarily tell you who the mail piece was addressed to that actually opened it and looked at it, but we do use the IMB and provide that IMB number back. And so that certainly can be retraced back to the original address. So if you so desire. So from a promotion perspective, again, a 4% discount. So you do nothing more than do your mail campaign the way you do it today. You would have the choice of replacing a grayscale image with a color image, and then would need to have a URL associated with it. And that URL or landing page, if you will, would need to be relevant to the actual mail piece. So, if you're selling oranges, then you wouldn't want the URL to land on an apples page or something like that, right? So it's relevant to it. The only caveat to it is that the landing page cannot be, if kind of makes sense, but it cannot be to sign up to eliminate receiving mail or to go green or something like that. If you can imagine, we can't give away money incentive wise than to take mail away from our future functions. So I did reference the fact that the successes that many of others have had, and probably some of you on the call as well, some of the successes associated with it. We are continuing to develop the informed delivery platform and things that we can do. We've now included packages, so you can receive notification of packages and images of packages being received. That URL then can be additional products in that particular line. It can be the instructions categories, putting it together. So we are also piloting the fact that we would then inform the informed delivery subscriber of when we are likely to drop the mail in the mailbox. So most of us know about when our mail person actually drops the mail off, but this would actually, using geo-tracking, identify when within like a 2-hour window of when that mail will be delivered today, perhaps to keep you from walking to an empty mailbox, something along those lines. And then finally, we are starting to roll out of informed delivery for business. And that will be a unique capability associated with it, and more to come on that. So that's really informed delivery in a nutshell. If you've not yet taken advantage of the informed delivery features and functions, talk to your representative. Certainly allow a discount, but there's also a lot of other or additional benefits associated with it as well.
Thank you, Jim.
And that's all I had.
I do an excellent job and thank you again. I don't see any chats or questions. We'll give it a minute to see if anybody wants to put anything out there. Outside of that, as a follow-up, once we have this deck in hand, we'll send it to everybody that jumped on and those folks that registered in hopes of a deeper dive discussion as we move into 2023. Doesn't look like we have any questions.
And that may be on me in regards to if there's a way to turn on the chat or the Q&A side. But again, I really appreciate everyone's involvement. I know that there are likely to be questions associated with this. We are supporting American Litho and your team with all of the necessary specifications, all of the required approval processes. I'm convinced that we can get most everything approved, and I'm looking forward to an exciting direct mail season.
So, Jim, we do have a question from Jenna. I don't know if you see that.
I just did. Yeah.
Okay. If you could speak to that.
That's a good question. So informed delivery, the intent behind the promotions was to incent companies to test it, to try to get involved in it. But typically what I found is that with informed delivery, once they do the promotions, they continue on with informed delivery all year long for all of their campaigns. So you absolutely can do an informed delivery campaign without the incentive, but then August 1st, then you could click over and then take advantage of the incentive, if that makes sense.
And if I could add to that, outside of the promotional time, what we're seeing here at American Litho, specifically, Jenna, to your question, and we can take a deeper dive in the next couple of days. It's a great opportunity to retarget folks as well as they go to those links within the informed delivery.
Yeah, highly recommend that messaging platform. And I know during the season with informed delivery, there were a number of companies that took advantage of it for 2022 and expect that to grow in 2023. A side benefit, if you're not aware of that, it's if you being a business mailer, actually put together a campaign that goes with your direct mail that goes out there, your position of your mail piece moves to the top. So if it's an informed delivery campaign, I would see it first when I scroll down my email of what's in my mailbox. If you do not do that, then it is according to the way they're scanned.
That's great. Any other questions before we all jump off and go break bread for today?
Okay. We'll do the follow-up as Frank mentioned. I know that everyone's busy, and so thank you again for your time. Looking forward to a great direct mail season, and have a great and happy holidays. Take care.
Thank you, Jim. Thank you all. Have a great day.